jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son, actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come back. Sports talking way too much, world come back. Sports talking way too much, world come back.
Shout out to the first in the building, Carlos Rosado on deck with it. What's good with it, Carlos? Appreciate you pulling up as always, man. One love to you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate your support to the channel. Let's get down to the topics. I'm going to give a little bit more time for people to pull up. You know what I'm saying? I want to, I got some questions. I got some thoughts for y'all to ponder. All that. You know what I'm saying? Benavidez had Andrade seeing ghosts last night. Yeah, I got some questions about Andrade. I have some questions. You know what I'm saying? At 35 years of age, I have questions, people. But while I'm waiting, man, shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-side official, no negotiation needed, period. You already know. Shout out to the chat. They handle their business. No clowning and all this other childish play over here. I appreciate the chat, man. You know what I'm saying? You all are appreciated. You feel me? Appreciate y'all doing you and not being, a bunch of people who just run around from chat to chat. You know what I'm saying? Clowning, timing people out, and all that other nonsense that goes along with people who just in it just to hang out. We got some topics, man. I'm just waiting for a little bit more people to come up here. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna just put it out there, right? While I get to the main topic. Prior to me getting to the main topic, okay? Which is, I got some questions about, Benavidez and who he should fight next, and then the Crawford Spence saga. But I want to bring up something. Y'all remember when Spence had this mouthpiece made? That was the mouthpiece that would later go on to be a part of the T-Mobile massacre. Come to find out, Crawford, most recently, got a mouthpiece made by the same guy. Okay? And this was after he fought Errol Spence Jr. So I'm guessing that mouthpiece that Crawford is having and the guy said he was going to reveal more of it later on. But he is on deck as making Crawford a mouthpiece after he fought Spence, and you know Spence is his next opponent, right? And this is the guy's name. You know, I'm giving him a shout out. You know what I'm saying? That's who's doing the mouthpiece. That is the guy who made Spence the mouthpiece with the eye on it and the mouthpiece with the fish on it. Now, if I was to be a betting man, I don't know which mouthpiece Spence is going to return to the ring with, being that the one with the eye, your third eye, did not fall out his mouth like, you know, his mouthpiece was, you know, previous fights with Danny Garcia and Yadina Suga. It's pretty much stayed in there. You know what I'm saying? With the uppercuts that Bud Crawford was landing, it stayed in his mouth. I had to give it to him for that. So, you know, Crawford went over there and ended up just recently getting a mouthpiece made by this guy. And that's who he is, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll give him a shout out because I seen his video out there with several fighters. He even did David Benavidez mouthpiece for this previous fight. You know what I'm saying? So just a little tidbit of who be behind the scenes making shit pop. Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz, the OG. What's good? I see you on deck, man. But that was kind of wild though. You know what I'm saying? All these fighters going over there to kind of get that mouthpiece made. You know what I'm saying? I guess that guy is building up his clientele over there, and just gonna show him a little love. You feel me? Put his name out there. What's next for Demetrius Andrade? That's the big question. Because obvious, people want to talk about size when it comes to Benavidez. Yes, size, strength, speed, power, pressure did Demetrius Andrade in. It absolutely did the man something dirty. You know what I'm saying? So much to the point where when he went back to his corner, you know, his corners, you know, when they was getting warned by the referee, he said, I'm not going to let another round go on like that. I'm not going to let another round go on like that, okay? I'm not going to do it. Well, you know, his corner said, go on and stop it. They went on and stopped it. I really didn't see if Andrade said stop the fight or whatever the case may be, but he ended up stopping him. He didn't come out for the 6th round, I don't think, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't come out for the 6th round. I mean, he didn't come out for the 7th round. Now, the thing about that is, being that Andrade is 35 years old, let me check something right quick. What is next for him? You know what I'm saying? Like, all the hype, you know what I'm saying? All the sidebar conversations about Demetrius Andrade, who's now 32-1, 19 knockouts. He did look impressive in rounds 1 through 3 a little bit. Start fading off at the end of 3, I think. What is next to him? Because he is a SNAC athlete. And you know where I'm going with this. You know, I'm going to keep it on Benavidez and Andrade for a bit, but I have to take out the drum set. I'm going to bring in the trumpets a little bit too. Yes, absolutely. So Demetrius Andrade, 35 years old. All right. He's a year younger than Crawford. Both of these guys are SNAC athletes. All right. So Andrade looked good for rounds 1 through 3, like I said. Crawford looked good from rounds 1 through 9. What it did tell us about this fight is that it really comes down to the skill set of the fighter, the boxing prowess of the fighter. It doesn't matter what supplement you're on. It's been individuals that go in there that's on pads and still get their ass beat. It's been individuals go in there and try to cheat and still get their ass beat. You know what I'm saying? In this particular case, Andrade, 35-year-old SNAC athlete. All right? A lot of people were saying that, hey, he's going to go in there and he's going to shock the world and everything. When you put that disclaimer out there and go up there and get stopped, and you can't come out from your stool to start the 7th round, you just made it halfway through the fight. You made it halfway through the fight, and you were in a predicament where you possibly would have been stretched and laid the rest out there on the canvas. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of people, like I said on my live the other day, it was a lot of people that was giving Andrade a chance to go in there and beat that Argentinian / Mexican monster. You know, it's unfortunately for freaking David Benavidez. He's not Argentinian, my mistake. Ecuadorian, all right? Mexican and Ecuadorian, my bad. You know what I'm saying? It just clicked on me, Ecuadorian. I'm thinking of another fighter. But, you know, he's Ecuadorian and Mexican. And, you know, he's trying to get a bigger fight with Canelo Alvarez. But with Andrade losing, I think his next opponent at that age, real talk, his next opponent, if Charlo is trying to make a statement, I think his next opponent should be Jermall Charlo. Real talk. We've seen Caleb Plant go in there with Canelo Alvarez prior to facing David Benavidez. He lost to Canelo, right? But he finally get the fight with the fighter that he said that was the easiest fight in the division, and Caleb Plant went the distance. Caleb Plant went the distance. You know what I'm saying, with David Benavidez. Demetrius Andrade couldn't go the distance with David Benavidez. He couldn't do it. But Caleb Plant do it. Okay, I understand Caleb has been at the super middleweight division for quite some time, but you got to start looking at the fighters who have went the distance with David Benavidez and the point he was trying to prove last night. For Charlo, who fought his older brother, he has options. He had Caleb Plant, a fighter who slapped him when he was in Vegas. I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to see that fight. Caleb Plant, I mean, style for style, yes, sir. Very, very entertaining. Jermall Charlo, Caleb Plant, or Jermall Charlo and freaking Demetrius Andrade. I would like to see that fight. Yes, he just lost to freaking David Benavidez, but now if Jermall Charlo is trying to fight at that weight class, I don't know if they're going to let him do it again without defending his title at 160. He has to make a choice. I think that'll be a good fight for Andrade. Besides that, I don't think Andrade has long left in the sport. The way he looked, the way he was broken down, you know, he started to look like Elroy III. I didn't like that. But, you know, the one thing about these fights is the referees. You know what I'm saying? The one thing about these fights is referees. And, you know, this fight went 6 rounds, but, you know what I'm saying, Spence was getting beat worse than freaking Andrade, and that went into the 9th round. So it all depends on the referee. I mean, there's a different referee, and Harvey Dock was there for the other one. You know what I'm saying? But it's different referees, and you never know what the promotion. I don't know, man. These referees, they always going to be the influencers. These referees are ultimately going to be the influencers of boxing match every single time. You know what I'm saying? They can come in there with already preconceived or predetermined results that they just have to see how the fight's playing out. Nobody wants to hear nobody say it, but it still happens. It's still active. So for Andrade, man, yeah, he should think about, you know, fighting one of those guys. You know, Caleb Plant, Jermall Charlo. Or Jermall Charlo should think about fighting a Caleb Plant, Demetrius Andrade. 2 of those options. There's still some other names up there. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he should hold his head down. You know, for the first 3 rounds, he looked pretty decent. And he definitely got some skills. We all know he'll look much better against Caleb Plant or Jermall Charlo if he chooses to fight. Now, for David Benavidez, in my opinion, he absolutely deserves a shot at Canelo Alvarez being a resident of 168 pounds. He deserved that shit. He's earned it. People may not give him credit because, you know, he may not be an ultimate popular guy, but he has a fan base. If you're going to go up here and say, well, Ryan Garcia has a fan base too. Well, we all know when it comes to boxing who can fight and who hasn't proven they can fight. Them Benavidez brothers can fight, man. So Benavidez had hiccups, but goddamn it wasn't Clenbuterol. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Clenbuterol. So, him coming in here making weight, first of all, being a heavier fighter, making weight, and trouncing freaking Demetrius Andrade like that. Yeah, he deserves a fight with Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? He shouldn't have to fight anybody else at 168 pounds. But when I say that, then we have to look at another situation that's out there. Paulie Malignaggi brought this up on Pro Box TV. He had made a good point in my opinion, about Canelo Alvarez, who had been on record saying he's not facing Mexican fighters, but then the rumor mill is that he may potentially be facing Jaime Munguia next. It said, according to Pro Box TV, Canelo Alvarez is secretly planning a fight against Jaime Munguia, skipping Benavidez in the process. So, responding to the rumors of Canelo fighting Munguia, the former professional boxer did not hold back from criticizing the Mexican superstar. What's more, Malignaggi points out a prior comment from Canelo that goes directly against his rumored desire to fight the Mexican Munguia. Next, it speaks about Paulie Malignaggi accuses Canelo Alvarez of being a hypocrite. And this is where it gets interesting for me, because we have heard him on record saying he wasn't going to fight any more Mexican fighters. He said, while speaking to Pro Box TV, the former boxer boldly asserted that Canelo's rumored move to fight Munguia means he is ducking a fight with the winner of David Benavidez versus Demetrius Andrade. He went on to recollect the time when Canelo claimed he wouldn't fight another Mexican fighter, suggesting Canelo was lying. Let's revisit that Canelo doesn't want to fight a Mexican. I guess that's out the window. When it's the right Mexican, I guess he'll fight him, said Malignaggi. Is Paulie wrong? No, he's not wrong at all. Canelo is on record as saying that. And Canelo needs to be held not with his feet to the fire, but with his gloves to the fire, because ultimately that's what he's going to have to bring into the ring. His gloves need to be on fire when he goes in there against David Benavidez, because that right there could potentially break records. Because there's a lot of people that's wanting to see, seriously, the boxing fans, in the higher weight class, there's two fights that they want to see right now. They want to see David Benavidez, of course, at super middleweight. And of course, they want to see Terrence Crawford, you know what I'm saying? But Terrence Crawford is out the limelight. People want to see it, you know what I'm saying? And they'll start building up steam a little bit more. But right now, the Mexican monster, he has his fan base looking at him like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? I want to see David Benavidez, God damn it. I want to see him fight Canelo because he might do him something dirty. You know what I'm saying? They talking about Benavidez might do Canelo something dirty. But to caveat off what Paulie mentioned, I do find it hypocritical that if Canelo said he wasn't fighting any more Mexicans, well, you don't want to fight half a Mexican? He's partially Ecuadorian, partially Mexican, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, you have to understand that the selection process makes it fairly simple for Canelo. He's in your division there, Canelo. He is a champion in your division, bro. You have his title. You have his title in your possession, and you never fought him. You fought everybody else. You fought Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and Caleb Plant. You never fought a David Benavidez, the Mexican monster. And something about David Benavidez got you tweaking because you just don't want to commit. You know what I'm saying? If you go out here and fight Jaime Munguia, who I call the Mexican Zorro of boxing, because he dip into a division, he dip out that motherfucker. And you don't know where Jaime Munguia at. And then finally he dips back into it, he got a fight coming up. No one knows he's in town until you see him. If he fights Jaime Munguia of all fighters, another fighter who has over 40-some professional wins or something, I mean, he's up there, right? He has a lot of freaking wins. But no one even talks about Jaime Munguia. If they doze off and shit watching boxing, and they yell his name out by mistake if they in a dream or something. Oh, Munguia. You know, the only way that's gonna happen is that they was watching some of his film study, and they nodded off, and he was still on their mind. Not nobody talking about Jaime Munguia like that, and definitely we don't want to see Canelo Alvarez pass up a invitation to fight David Benavidez. Come on, man, he earned that shit, bro. I mean, let boxing be boxing for once. He has the right fan base. You can't say that he's too small. You can't say nobody knows him. And just to think, Benavidez is only freaking 26? Oh my God. Dude, he got another 10 years in the sport. This man is more than likely going to move up to freaking 75 and be a champion. You know, because Artur Beterbiev, we don't know how long he's going to be up there, but it could potentially build up a rivalry between him and Dimitri Bivol, or even Gilberto Ramirez and some other fighters. Now that Vostok has made his return, you know, it's some fighters up there at 175 to get it popping. And then the cruiserweight division. You're not going to tell me that David Benavidez may not potentially be a cruiserweight champion for us all over with, or even a freaking heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? It's highly possible that David Benavidez can be a heavyweight at one point in time, because he's a big fighter. And the crazy part about the dynamic of David Benavidez being that big is that he's been big most of his life. So his bones, his entire skeletal structure can hold that weight because he's a big dude, period. You know what I'm saying? So he can fight the way he fights because his body's used to having all that weight on it. Unlike, you know, Demetrius Andrade, who built up all that muscle mass, went through all the strength and conditioning, muscle, and then with that new muscle, your body have to acclimate on the oxygen levels of that muscle, the amount of blood that gets in there. You know, you have to start working out, and you may feel good doing strength and conditioning, working out. You know what I'm saying? Sparring. You may feel good, you know, with that weight. It's much different when you step in the ring and you're basically taking punches and your body is multitasking. Psychologically, your body is multitasking. You have punches coming at you. You got to know when to return punches or when to execute punches. You have to know when to move. You know what I'm saying? Your body is being impacted by a moving object in front of you. That shit is real life. Real life. Our money on deck. Salute to you. Rocco on deck. Andrade is garbage. He's going back to fighting D-level fighters. I wouldn't say at all he's garbage, man. I wouldn't say at all the garbage, because when Lennox Lewis was knocked out by Hasim Rothman, he demanded a rematch, an immediate rematch, and he got it. You know, like I said before, if you're going off the garbage scenario, go watch MMA. You know what I'm saying? In the UFC, this fighter sometimes gets stopped in the first and second round, even though the rounds are 5 minutes apiece. You see fighters get knocked out in the first round, and Dana White, not so much Dana White, but Dana White along with his matchmakers. I don't know if it's still same people, but they allow them fighters to come back for immediate rematch. You know what I'm saying? It's fighters that have been knocked out that come back for immediate rematch. And the MMA fighters don't never put their fighters, like the MMA community, they don't never say, oh, they garbage, they trash, you know, because they get knocked out. But I can see what some people feel, but you can't tell me Andrade didn't look decent. You know what I'm saying? Prior to that, you know what I'm saying? Prior to that, he looked good. Prior to him taking that punishment, he looked decent. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you look at it this way. If you say Andrade is trash, are you saying Spence is trash? You know what I'm saying? Are you saying Spence is trash if you're saying Andrade is trash? Because they was two hyped up fighters, you know, that was stepping in there and they didn't live up to the hype and they got stopped. One was stopped on his stool, and corner stoppage, RTD, and the other one was stopped by the referee at a TKO stoppage. So are you saying Spence is garbage? If you are, you know what I'm saying? Are you saying that? What's going on? Arnold Brown on deck. I see you. W said Andrade isn't on the gold plan from SNAC. Victor Conte personally takes care of Bud. Now they on the same program, bro. They're on the same program. You know what I'm saying? They're on the same program. No, we got to put them on the same program. You know what I'm saying? The same program. Because you have to look at it this way too. Why would Victor Conte have them on a different program? They both undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Andrade heading into this fight with David Benavidez is 2-weight world champion. You know what I'm saying? One less than Terrence Crawford. So why would Victor Conte deem it necessary to have them on different programs? I get what you're saying. But truth be told, brother, my whole point for bringing up the SNAC program, because they was making it seem like if a fighter is on SNAC, they're going to go in there and dominate. They're going to go in there and fight on a whole nother level because they have generated enhancements considered to be associated with the SNAC program. And that's not the case. That's not the case because these SNAC athletes don't all box the same. We seen that shit. It doesn't all box the same. Samuel on deck. What's good? Salute WCS. Is Andrade on the fraud alert? A lot of people are going to say, it's fraud when it comes down to it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to say, oh, man, he was so hyped up during the week. People boosted this man's ego. He did not live up to the hype. He couldn't push past the 6th round. He went out on his stool. And, most boxing fans, when a fighter go out on their stool at the age of 35, they're going to say he's old. You know what I'm saying? Like Rocco said, he's garbage. I understand where people are going to be coming from. That's just like boxing talk. Boxing fans are so quick to basically discard their fighter when they suffer a loss like that. It wasn't like he was on the canvas and he was straight, he wasn't moving or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he wasn't moving. I mean, his corner stopped the fight, which is way better than him getting knocked out unconscious on the canvas for all the cameras to lens that moment. So that's where I'm at with it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if y'all consider him to be a fraud alert, I'm not putting up any resistance. Fraud is a harsh word at the end of the day. Fraud is like you pretending to be somebody that you wasn't. You know what I'm saying? You're giving off the impression that you're more than what you are, and you just didn't live up to the value that people was giving you. I get it, bro. I get it. Tyrese said, SNAC athlete. Now I got to see what the resident hater Marty got to say about SNAC. I don't think a lot of these guys who's reporting on Bud feel it within themselves to be fair across the board, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? To be fair across the board, because the whole point you have to remember, Tyrese, was their whole target precedence was who? Bud Crawford. So it was easy to raise these concerns to the listeners when Bud Crawford's name was one of the hottest on the YouTube community. That's why they were so quick to speak on Bud in a nefarious manner, because they felt like if they continue to put the controversy out there, it's gonna get the algorithm, and it's gonna have more people coming to the channel to accuse Bud Crawford of being on SNAC and basically, having performance enhancement, supplements added to his ability to go in there and beat Spence the way he did. Just to basically find any way to basically diminish or devalue or basically sabotage what we seen on July 29th. It's no way that it was going to work. It hasn't worked up to this point. As we all seen, you know, Bud Crawford was in there with PBC doing his thing. How legit is the box rec for Andrade? I mean, the quality of wins is obviously he was not ready for the Mexican monster. I see where you at with it, Samuel. You know, box rec is box rec. You have to understand there was a format that deals with inflation early on in their career. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like building up a ladder, rung for rung. And that's what a box rec is. They start building up these box rec to get to a certain height of elevation in a fighter's career where they look presentable to start getting big fights. Now, I always try to explain to people, right, that you can put rungs on the ladder and get them up to that elevation, and then when it's time to step off of this particular elevation, they got to be willing to handle the competition that's up there at that level. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna get them soft touches and inflate and cushion their box rec all the way up to that elevation, that higher level of advancement, and they've been fighting okay fighters, then that's when we start to see. And the wild part about it, some fighters, according to who they sign with, according to who they team with, they stay on the ladder too long. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to stay on the ladder too long in your career. You know what I'm saying? You want to jump on the plane and start going away, you know, a whole nother elevation, you know, a whole nother destination. You don't want to stay on the ladder because you can only go so far with a ladder. You can only go so far with a ladder. And then you got to prop that up against that box rec. You know what I'm saying? You got to lean that up the damn sidewall of a box rec and keep on climbing up to the next window. Whereas if you consider an elite fighter, you start taking freaking rotary wing or fixed wing and start flying to destinations. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You start letting people know that, hey, I'm ready for the big time. I'm ready for better competition. And there's a lot of people, especially on Facebook, there's a lot of people out there criticizing Andrade's record. But that's just the way of the land when it comes to boxing, man. Like people's resume, some are respectable, and some is just out here where you know, this not even the word, but it was very selectable. You know, if selectable is even in right context. You know what I'm saying? Some are respectable and some are selectable. You know what I'm saying? The respectable ones, of course, they kind of leaned into fighting decent competition early on in their career, and they at a higher level than most. And then the ones who are part of the selectable regime, they stay on the ladder. They pick and choose who they want to fight. And they done put away 25 wins. And they ain't goddamn fight nobody. 30. And they ain't really fought nobody. So it's going to be a lot of people questioning Andrade's resume. A lot. You know, always remember this, listeners. You have to look at these fighters' resume. Let's just say Andrade. We have to look at Demetrius Andrade, who's 32-1, right? Okay? Check this out. We got time. I'm going to basically share screen and show you something about Demetrius Andrade's resume and why a lot of people are criticizing him as a fighter now, because now check this out. He's 32-1, 19 knockouts, right? I don't need to go through all that, how many bouts he had, his southpaw and all that. We know that. But let's go down here. Let's start around 2013. You know what I'm saying? There's no need to really go back here. But I wanna let you see something about staying on the ladder. Okay, staying on the ladder doesn't mean you're fighting losing opposition. You know what I'm saying? You're fighting losing opposition all the way. You can fight fighters with a winning, not losing opposition, losing records. You can fight fighters with winning records, but that doesn't mean they're equal to greater than you. So if you go down here, he started off with a 4-2 fighter. 0-1, 4-1, 2-0, 8-1. Check this out. This is why I'm saying when you have to think about calling somebody, you have to check and see what they was about, man. Maybe they had good intentions. 11, 3-0. Once again, I think this is fourth undefeated. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Third, right? 59, 8-8, 9-9, 7-1, 8-1. Now you look at these people, fighters, not really fighters that we just looking to be on our special list coming up that he's fought. 28-12, that's 2011. All right. 38-18, 30-10, 12-3, 16-4. Freddie Hernandez, 30-3. Van Martirosyan gave him his first loss. That's his third undefeated fighter. Brian Rose, 25-1. Who is that? Dario Pachetta, 20-2. Talk about the ladder and talk about the plains. Willie Nelson, respectful, you know what I'm saying? Respectable. Willie Nelson. But he was dropped rounds 1, 11, and twice in round 12, bro. Right? And he had 2 losses already, which isn't that bad, you know what I'm saying? Alante Fox, he also dropped freaking Andrade in round 7. And Martirosyan dropped him in round 1. Walter Wakanda, 17. That's like his 4th freaking undefeated fighter. Arkarov, 19-2. Do you know any of these fighters? We know Selecki, right? We know Selecki, 28-1 at the time. So let's just say out of familiar names, Alante Fox, Selecki, and Vance Martirosyan, Willie Nelson. We'll just give him 4 out of the resume so far. Luke Keeler. I know who Luke Keeler is. You know what I'm saying? We'll give him Luke Keeler, man. You know what I'm saying? 5. Liam Williams, 6. You know what I'm saying? 23-2. Jason Quigley, 7. You know, Demond Nichols, you know, he really had his coming out party in a losing effort against Edgar Berlanga by being the first man to go the distance. But, you know, he's considered one of those guys who, you know, may potentially not go in there and get the win. But, you know, Demetrius Andrade went unanimous decision with him. You know what I'm saying? And David Benavidez. But my whole point, like the number of names that's familiar on his resume doesn't really scratch the surface when it comes to having 33 bouts, y'all. 33 bouts. 33 bouts? And you only have like 6 notable names on your resume with 33 bouts? That's unacceptable. But that's why people are going to criticize him the way they are, you know, saying he's a fraud and saying he's this, that, and the other, because, you know, he doesn't have any really big names. But let's go down here and look at Benavidez, though. Let's just start it off. Let me see. Let's just start off at the bottom. Debut 0-5, 1-1. Debut 0-1. Debut. This look worse than freaking Demetrius Andrade to start off, because he's having debut guys after he freaking started fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. His 6th professional fight was his 3rd debut fighter. You know what I'm saying? His 3rd debut fighter. All right? Keep going. 1-6, 23-20. This is the format of boxing, people. 9-7-1. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. His 11th fight, so to speak. His 11th fight is it? He's fighting an 0-11 fighter in Mexico, right? Felipe Romero, 19-9. Cobbs, you know what I'm saying, 10-1. 16-2. Start cleaning it up a little bit. 16-0. 20-4. 14-1. 36-7. Rob Guerrero, okay, we'll freaking start naming some names. Fought him twice. Split decision and then unanimous decision. Both wins, okay? J. Leon Love used to be over there with Mayweather Promotions. Fought him back in 2019. 24-2. You know what I'm saying? KO'd him in the second round. Anthony Durrell, we saw this fight. It was a pretty good fight until, Anthony Durrell eye was cut. And then, they end up stopped the fight. You know what I'm saying? Angulo, 26-1. You know what I'm saying? Stopped him in the 10th, didn't get off the stool. Ronald Ellis, y'all know who that is, 18-1. Caron Davis, supposed to be the next best, you know what I'm saying, underrated star. And Caron Davis put up a fight, tough dude. He put up a better fight than I thought he did, but he ended up being stopped in the 7th round. And that's crazy because Caron Davis is not considered to be on the level of Demetrius Andrade, but he went longer distance. It's just wow. And then David Lemieux, of course, respectable opponent, been in there with some big names. He stopped him in the 3rd round. And then, of course, we seen the Caleb Plant fight. I wasn't really impressed with that. And then Demetrius Andrade. He stopped Demetrius Andrade in round 6 and then stopped Caleb Plant. You know what I'm saying? Bragging rights to Caleb Plant for being that boxer and being better than what people thought he was. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to David Benavidez, 28-0, 24 knockouts, less professional experience than Demetrius Andrade, and a much more respectable resume than Andrade. And he's only 26 years old. That's a lot that he's been doing at only 26 years old, man. That's absolutely deserved plaudits. You feel me? He deserved plaudits for that shit. He deserved plaudits, man. Quality of wins is obviously not ready for the Mexican months of peace and blessings. Yeah, that's this is the deal where, David Benavidez, you gotta give him his love, so to speak. He should be able to fight Canelo next. But if Canelo chooses to fight Jaime Munguia, the criticism is warranted from Paulie Malignaggi. You know what I'm saying? That he is a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? Because he's willing, check this out. He's not fighting, he said he's not fighting any more Mexican when David Name was, the topic of discussion. But he'll fight a Charlo. You know what I'm saying? It's coming up 2 weight divisions and went in there and looked bad. You know what I'm saying? Looked bad against Canelo. Just ran and didn't really try to put up a fight. But he definitely put that name on his resume. Definitely put that name on his resume. And matter of fact, let's look at something right quick. Check this out. Jermall Charlo, while I'm on the topic, I'm so disappointed in you, Jermall Charlo, not the fact that you a whining baby, the fact that you wasn't there. I didn't see any sightings of you in the arena to support your brother who during his time, he came out there to support you with Canelo. You know what I'm saying? You would show up to Terrence Crawford fight, but you didn't show up to your brother Charlo fight, who was coming off a long hiatus and going in there and fighting. It would have been good if you showed up and gave him some love and a hug like Big Bro did you. But that just goes to show you he is Big Bro. You know what I'm saying? Charlo, Jermall Charlo is Big Bro. But check out this right here. This is what I want y'all to see. That's as clean. That is clear as it possibly gets. 118, 109, 118, 109, 119, 108. You know what I'm saying? Charlo down in round 7. But to Charlo's freaking, the way he wanted to look at it, to Charlo's freaking victory, you know what I'm saying? For him, his saving grace is the fact that he survived and went 12 rounds with Canelo. That's his saving grace. But he got swept because Canelo took it easy on him. That's all. Canelo took it easy. The shit Canelo was doing in there was Canelo, unlike Canelo. It wasn't Canelo-esque. And the way he was loading up on shit, and Charlo was slipping underneath it and resetting, and Canelo still looking out into the crowd. No. That was some bullshit 3 times. Allow Candyman to come in this bitch and tell you it was bullshit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That shit was bullshit, man. And look, I'm not mad about it, but I'm just saying, like, you know, at the end of the day, Canelo's need to step up and stop getting a therapeutic exemption when it comes to facing David Benavidez. He really needs to face this guy. You know what I'm saying? He really needs to face. And this is another guy in Jermall Charlo. You can look at his record, and, you know, everybody will mention Erickson Lubin because he's still fighting. You know, he has a Martirosyan on his record. He has a Gabriel Rosado on his record, 7 losses. A lot of people sit up here and criticize Jermall Charlo's record, but guess what? He only has 2 losses. 1 to Tony Harrison and 1 to Canelo Alvarez. That loss he just took, he took that with a smile on his face and a paycheck in his hand. So he's good with that. You know, he's good. He faced Bud. He's going to have a 3rd loss on that record. But I hope Bud stick to his guns. Well, I'll put it this way. If Canelo doesn't entertain the call out of Terrence Crawford, Terrence definitely have to find somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not looking at this rematch with Bud as being anything less except the rounds that it go. I think it goes less rounds, but as far as the output, as far as him dominating, I don't think it's any less pressure, any less gas in the tank for him to go in here and look a certain way. Even though he's older than Spence, I don't expect him to go in here and look much older. You know what I'm saying? Over the hill, end of the line, into retirement, and all this other shit that the people have been saying. And also with Crawford, I would assume that he's definitely trying to look even more impressive than he did the first time because he wants to fight with Canelo. If Crawford goes in here and something crazy happens, out of the ordinary, that he's not looking as dominant as he was before, then of course the haters, the creators, you know what I'm saying, the critics, the naysayers, you know what I'm saying, all these individuals are going to assume that, well, yeah, you had your best showing with Spence, but you can't duplicate it. And since you can't duplicate it, you know what I'm saying, you don't need no fight with Canelo. He go in here and wipe he wipe Spence, wipe his nose quickly. Then people are going to be like, hey, we want to see that fight. People are not calling for him to fight Jermall Charlo because he looked terrible in that against Canelo. But Crawford, freaking Canelo, people are not going to denounce that fight. They just torn right now. They want to see Crawford or Benavidez. They want to see somebody who's actually in the division that Canelo fight, or, Crawford who's coming up a couple of divisions. You have to ask yourself, because the next fight is going to be 54, and we can't say he's coming up from 47 no more. If they're going to fight at 54, he'll be doing the same thing Jermall did. So it won't look as bad for Canelo to fight Crawford coming up from 54 to 68. You know what I'm saying? And you're talking about a person that's in the gym, the strength and conditioning coach seem to have it locked in. That'd be a real good fight because Crawford can move and box. You know what I'm saying? He can move and box. And he has solid, respectable defense. You know what I'm saying? His security measures are intact. His perimeters is known to be solid. So, yeah, I want to see that, bro. I want to see that. I want to see that. I don't know if I mentioned to y'all, you know, the Katie Taylor fight, man. Salute to her. She avenged her loss. You know what I'm saying? She did. She came back and picked up the titles. And she said, for those of you that was doubting her because of your age, you know what I'm saying? she revenged her loss, man. So she beat Chantel Cameron in the rematch. You know, Teofimo Lopez was at the fight. And to be honest, you know, he said that that particular David Benavidez would beat Canelo. That's what his thoughts. He said that Benavidez in there would beat Canelo. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are going to say that would be a tough Benavidez to beat if they went in there with Canelo. It'll be tough. Oh, my God, it'll be tough, bro. But, you know, Tio said that would be a tough. I mean, Benavidez, he gives him the nod. The Benavidez we saw yesterday would be tough for Canelo to beat. Eddie Hearns is out here capping again. You know, it's hard for me to when it comes to Wilder and Joshua. He said potentially they may be fighting next March. Man, come on, bro. Because, look, hopefully we make the Joshua versus Wilder fight for next March. So that means Deontay them on this card in Radai, they supposed to be fighting in December, right? So you saying they fight in a card in Radai and then they rest a little bit and get right back in camp for Anthony Joshua in March. We don't know where in March, but that's a quick turnaround. You know what I'm saying? A quick turnaround. You know what I'm saying? In fight camp right now, getting ready for Joseph Parker. You know what I'm saying? Get that out the way and then fight Joshua. You know, Eddie Hearns just keep on springing this Joshua Wilder shit. That fight was supposed to be at the end of 2023, and it's not. I don't want to. I just don't want to hear too much about it anymore because, you know, when Eddie Hearns dangle that motherfucking carrot out there, I get sick and tired of seeing it. I do. I'm tired of hearing about it. All that. What did y'all think about Michel Rivera? You know what I'm saying? The way he boxed Sergey Lipinets. I felt he had a really good plan, man, for his fighting style. You know what I'm saying? And he did what he had to do against the flat-footed. You know what I'm saying? Just try to walk you down tough, you know, brawling Sergey Lipinets. He did what he had to do. But in order for him to be a competitive freaking threat at 140 pounds, he has to work on his cardio and he has to work on boxing on the inside. If you are emulating one of your idols like Muhammad Ali, I get it. But it doesn't mean you have to do everything he did. You don't have to fight on the outside all the time. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to fight on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where it's going to be. When you run out of gas and you get with a fighter that can fight you on the inside and you're not going to be able to move the way you do against Sergey Lipinets. You know what I'm saying? If you move, that's energy that you're using and burning. So, yeah, just learn how to, you know, fight in place. Every now and then he did land some combinations and sat down on some combinations when he was in the center square. But a lot of times in the later round, he was just moving. He was just moving. Which is nothing wrong with it at the end of the day. It's boxing. Seriously. Who am I to sit up here and tell this man how to box? All I'm doing is critiquing you on what I've seen. I'm not saying it was horrible. You did get the win, no doubt about it. But, you know what I'm saying? If you want to step up and fight some of this other competition, and they might use the same freaking pressuring, you know, methods to pressure you because they know you're going to be boxing off the back foot. I mean, you got to be ready for that with your cardio. You just can't be taking rounds off. Whether you take the rounds off, you end up like Andrade. you really take an extensive amount of punishment. Benavidez, Berlanga looked better than Andrade with Nicholson. Don't think much of Berlanga. Benavidez, Berlanga looked better than Andrade with Nicholson. Don't think much of Berlanga. A lot of people not giving Berlanga his respect. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, at the end of the day, let me see, do I still have it? At the end of the day, this is why they don't respect Berlanga. Let me see where my pick at. Let me see. I know I had it down here, right? Let me go over here. Maybe it's over here. No, I just have to return to it a different day because, hold up. Oh, here it goes. This is why they are tripping on Berlanga, because Berlanga's out here trying to goddamn bite into his opponent, Angulo. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that right there is unacceptable. That was his last fight at Top Rank too. I'm not gonna lie, that was his last fight. Like, he was so frustrated, the guy moving around, that Edgar Berlanga bit the dude on the left part of his freaking upper trapezius muscle, you know, right below the left lobe, you know, earlobe. It's just, man, come on, man. Like, that shit right there, bro. I done seen a lot of fighters do crazy shit. You know, we already know the infamous Tyson. You know what I'm saying? It's been fighters that bite other fighters. You know what I'm saying? Give low blows. It's been all of that. You know what I'm saying? But in this particular fight with Angulo, a fighter that Edgar was supposed to go in there and outbox and get the victory, he bit dude on the freaking neck. You know what I'm saying? And Top Rank let his ass go, but a lot of people still look at that like, Edgar does bring butts to the seats, but he's going to be another Demetrius Andrade if he don't get his act together, because 168 pounds with the amount of fights that Edgar Berlanga has, will he fight a Jermall Charlo? Will he step up and fight a Jermall Charlo? If Jermall take a fight at 168, will Edgar fight a Dave Morrell, Caleb Plant? Will he fight an Anthony Durrell that's still up there? You know, like, when is he gonna step up? You know, after him biting Angulo, who he was frustrated with, who was moving, you know what I'm saying, using his movement around the ring. He bit the man on the freaking neck to try to draw blood for, you know, goddamn Vampire movie 15. You know what I'm saying? The Puerto Rican vampire. Never foreseen footage. You know what I'm saying? They want to make a documentary out of him. The Puerto Rican vampire, dog. You know what I'm saying? Who does this shit? You lost respect. You know what I'm saying? You lost respect for this shit. That's all I'm saying. You lost respect. Crazy. David Benavidez, man, he's pretty much he has a lot of media release out there, them talking very highly of him. Very highly. You know what I'm saying? Very, very highly. Even Terrence Crawford mentioned that he's definitely ready for Canelo. You know what I'm saying? He's ready for Canelo after touching Andrade. It said that Terrence Crawford was gushing over the performance of WBC interim super middleweight champion Benavidez, 28-0, 24 knockout, saying he's not ready for Canelo after his 6-round retirement win over Demetrius Andrade, right? Look, the title says, Terrence Crawford on Benavidez win. He's ready for Canelo after trouncing Andrade. And then in the article, and this is, Chris Williams, go figure, you know what I'm saying? No editor, saying he's not ready for Canelo after his 6-round retirement at the Michelob Arena. Crawford was pouring the praise over the Canelo of the Mexican monster Benavidez, calling his performance A++. So what Chris did, once again, and I'm very critical of these damn so-called authors if they even exist, they put mistakes and shit that you're not supposed to make in an article. And they really, draw in confusion from the reader because they're up here inserting words that don't make any sense to what they said at the title, or once you really get invested in the reading the article, they on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They saying something that's really doesn't make any sense. There's no merit to it. You know what I'm saying? They're going against the grain for fun. He said A++, calling his performance an A++, one giving him high marks for the pressure and punch variety against the 35-year-old Andrade, who looked like a fighter several divisions above his natural weight class of 154. He looked spectacular. He did wonderful, said Terrence Crawford. When asked about his reaction to David Benavidez's victory over Demetrius Andrade last Sunday night, Benavidez wanted them, said Crawford, on whether Benavidez is one of the best offensive fighters in boxing. Crawford said he wanted them. He goes on and says, Crawford ready to fight Benavidez. What was interesting to watch how Crawford sped quickly away. See what I'm talking about? Listen to this. What was interesting to watch, this is about Benavidez, right? Being complimented by Crawford. But what Boxing News 24 loves to do is create reality shows, all right? This next para say, what was interesting to watch how Crawford sped quickly away when asked if he'd like to be the one to fight the face of the boxing, Canelo Alvarez, next. Bud took off like someone had given him a hot foot, and he would not respond to the question, which that's not true because he's on record as saying he want two fights. He want Errol Spence Jr. and he want Canelo Alvarez. But when you go to Boxing News, they're always trying to create some freaking unpopular article of controversy, you know what I'm saying, and shocking this, shocking that, breaking this. They want to bring in something to get people to lean in heavy, to put the shock and awe in that shit by talking out their face. They said you can interrupt Crawford's decision not to throw his hat. You can interpret, rather, Crawford's decision not to throw his hat into the ring for a fight with Canelo because he was well aware of the reaction from the fans in the interview. Now, with the way things are set up, the next question would have been to Crawford, are you ready to face Benavidez to get the Canelo fight? And that was the whole purpose, to basically send you on a busy route, you know what I'm saying? Reroute you through the back streets, you know what I'm saying? To see where the ghettos and projects at, and then kind of bring you back out after they done showed you what it's like over here in this area. You know what I'm saying? This ghetto ass damn articles that they be writing. Now with the way things are set up, this is per Boxing News 24. The next question would have been to Crawford, are you ready to face Benavidez to get Canelo fight? Who would have asked that shit? Everybody know why, he would want to face Canelo. Canelo has a bigger name. His name is bigger than Benavidez. It don't have anything with Crawford proving to people that he want to go up there and fight Benavidez where he has nothing to gain from that. Yeah, it will be a tough fight. Absolutely. But he want to fight Canelo because Canelo is the pound for pound, on the pound for pound list. And he's goddamn multi-division champion and currently the undisputed at super middleweight. It goes on to say, if Crawford wants the opportunity to move up 3 weight classes to challenge Canelo for the undisputed super middleweight championship, fans and media will want him to face Benavidez in an elimination type of contest where the winner gets the prize. No, Chris. No one wants to see him face Benavidez for a title eliminator. That's just stupid. Benavidez don't have to face Crawford for a title eliminator. You sound asinine, man. Whenever these cats, man, sit up here and write, I can only imagine all the goddamn Twinkie rappers, the Hershey's Kisses rappers, man, honey buns. I look, these dudes just sit up here and just put shit together and copy and paste and shit like that. Why would he has to face Crawford for elimination and he's in the division already? He's already did that shit. He's right there, right here, right now. He's next in line to face Canelo, bro. Why would you even suggest that that Crawford have to face Benavidez in an elimination type of contest when he already did that with Andrade? The loser is vanquished. Look what he said. The loser is vanquished forever and would never get the chance for the retirement golden parachute money against Alvarez. Come on, boy. Come on, man. The cacology that this dude is using, these words is freaking, the shit is not adding up, man. I mean, he's relentless. It's pressure, but it's smart pressure. He's coming behind the jab, throw straight punches. He's going to the body, up and down. Crawford continued about the Mexican monster Benavidez. He just got to lighten up a little on his defense. But other than that, he's good. He's ready for Canelo. So in between them actually putting, what should have been a part of this article, they want to break it up and talk about how Crawford, ran away from the point of facing Canelo. Why? Because it's not his moment. It's Benavidez's moment. You know what I'm saying? It's Benavidez's moment. So respectfully, he was keeping it on Benavidez. But then they returned back to what the article was about him complimenting Benavidez and say he ready for Canelo. And then say it would mean more if Benavidez tried his relentless pressure fighting against a better class of fighters, such as Dave Morrell or Demetrius Bivol. Man, you are stupid. I swear to God, you stupid. You must be goddamn, your blood sugar must be higher than a motherfucking kite, bro. Where is David Morrell coming into this motherfucker, dog? I mean, why don't everybody else get the pass that David Morrell's getting? I still remember seeing David Morrell prior to him even getting a shine before he was the belt. All of that. Like, where's this David Morrell guy able to get? Who in their right mind? You know what I'm saying? He say it would mean more if Benavidez tried his relentless pressure style fight. Why would he try on fighters? Only one is in his weight class. You know what I'm saying? And not even in the WBC like that. And then Demetrius Bivol is up at 175, man. It goes on to say, is it asking too much of Benavidez to break from his mold of padding his record against non-hoppers? Non-hoppers, y'all. No hoppers, non-hoppers. To face actual talented fighters. He puts his whole name. Chris Williams doesn't want to put Benavidez out by wanting him to fight Bivol, Morrell, Artur Beterbiev. But aren't those the guys he should be fighting to earn a shot at Canelo? What type of respect and credit will he get for fighting David Morrell? And look. So Canelo holds no titles at 175, but this guy wants him to move up to 75 and face a champion, a unified champion in Artur Beterbiev, right? Demetrius Bivol, when they don't have anything to do with this so-called title eliminator for David Morrell, because it makes no sense, man. Of what this guy's all over the place. It's very confusing, puzzling. The one who will decide whether Canelo Benavidez fight will be made isn't Crawford. It'll be Canelo. And he's got so many options available to him that it would make your head spin. And Canelo really don't have all the options that you think, because at this point, people want to see Canelo fight big names or retire. You know what I'm saying? Because he's at that, they want to see him fight big names, not basically useless fillers of boxers that's going in there to get an opportunity to fight Canelo. No one wants to see that. No one wants to see damn near a sanction but exhibition type fight. Unfortunately for the 26-year-old Benavidez, he will probably have to keep winning and proving himself until time to a more immemorial before he get the shot at Canelo. I just reminded everyone who the real champion at 168 said Benavidez. Who wants to see me versus Canelo? Just give me the fight that we all want to see, said Benavidez, trying to get the fans to pressure Alvarez on his behalf. The article goes on to say, nah, Benavidez is not the real champion 168. But if it helps his political campaign to try and get Canelo payday, you can understand why he will attempt to pass himself off as a true champion in the super middleweight division. It makes Benavidez look cheap and lazy for him to try and embellish his status by calling himself the champion prematurely without actually earning it. What? It's like an enlisted soldier calling himself a general and expecting to be saluted and placed in charge of troops. You can't do that. First of all, why should it even be a first of all with this guy? It shouldn't even be a first of all. What you just said. First of all, when it comes down to an enlisted, they're only enlisted, not the commission. You would have been better off been saying a second lieutenant calling themselves general, because there's no way that an enlisted is going to consider themselves to be a high-ranking general who's in a whole nother ranking structure, the commission, the officer ranking structure. Their ranking structure is O, O1, O2. You know what I'm saying? At least in the Corps. And then when it comes to enlisted, it's E, enlisted. E for enlisted, O for officer. Moving on. If Benavidez wants to be the number one fighter at 168, he's going to have to earn it by taking on the killers in the weight class, starting with David Morrell. Okay. Let's pull up David Morrell's. Let's pull up David Morrell. This super duper ooper killer. Let me share screen with y'all right quick since I have time. Let me share screen. This is David Morrell, y'all. All right. Let me get to the chat right quick. Shout out to Big Blunts and Boxing on deck in the building. What's good with the Blunts? The GOAT has arrived. Salute to you, brother. Will Edgar Berlanga fight so-called at 168? Oh, hell no, he ain't gonna fight no so-called, man. I'd like to see that fight, though, Samar. Real talk. I'd like to see that fight. Warren, what's good? I see you, man. Jessica, what's good, Queen? How you feeling? One love to y'all, man. Need to send out notifications. Well, I can't do nothing about that, and people complain about that all the time, like they threatening YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like they threatening YouTube. Let's go to David Morrell. 9-0, 8 knockouts, y'all. 25 years old, from Cuba. I thought he was okay. From Cuba, right? So let me. This is 9 fights, and this guy is boosting up David Morrell to be the guy. You know what I'm saying? To be the ultimate guy. So we're looking at a 2-6, a 15-6, a 22-0, 26-3, a 12-0. Look at the names though. Lantes Fox, 28-2. Calvin Henderson, 15-1. Yerbo, you know what I'm saying, 16-0. You know, Yerbo, look, check this out. Yerbo haven't been back in the ring since November 2022 because he damn near was in a coma. You know what I'm saying? Damn near in a coma. Wasn't even ready for a fight of that magnitude. Then Yamaguchi Falco, this dude obviously was a freaking the president of the Soccer Dads Association and of the Boys and Girls Club in his local community. Yamaguchi Falco wasn't ready to go in there and handle Morrell. But this dude, Chris Williams, is up here hyping David Morrell up to face Benavidez and saying Benavidez should fight this guy who is 9-0 with a resume that's not even close to being respectable, dog. Not even close at 9-0, 8 knockouts. This is a motherfucking being almost. You're talking about fighting. You're talking about David Benavidez reaching all the way down to the bottom of the trash can. He reaching all the way at the bottom of the barrel. Regardless if the dude's the WBA freaking champion. There's no way that Benavidez earns any type of respect and any more clarity to prove that he's the Mexican monster and one of the best fighters at 168 by fighting David Morrell. This is insane, bro. This is insane. This guy said he should fight. If Benavidez wants to be the #1 fighter at 168, y'all, he's going to have to earn it by taking on killers in the weight class, starting with David Morrell. So everybody else don't get a pass. But if you David Morrell, who has a secondary title already, you get a pass based off non-professional wins. And you're not talking about no extreme killers, no big names on here in the super middleweight division. But for Benavidez, just defeated a 2-division champion, and he need to face David Morrell to prove that he's the #1 contender. That is absurd. It goes on to say that should be, let me stop sharing that. That should be Benavidez's next target if he wants to earn the top spot at 168, rather than lazily calling himself the real champion. The way Benavidez is trying to pass himself off as the best at 168 is pathetic because he's not earned it. This guy goes up and down, man. Like, that cocaine is a hell of a drug, bro. If Benavidez wants the honor bestowed upon him by the fans and the media, he needs to get off his backside and earn it by beating these fighters. What is this motherfucker talking about? See, it's only so much stupid that I can freaking digest. I've heard some dumbass, embryonic, rudimentary articles from Chris Williams before. But dude, what are you fucking doing, man? Are you eating every time that you goddamn typing on this motherfucker? How many Cokes or Pepsis have you been drinking and eating with motherfucking Snicker bars and Kit Kats and Good Bars, Babe Ruths, Twix? He say, if Benavidez wants the honor bestowed, when did he lose the honor? You wrote this article when? When did you write this article? What's the date? November 26th today. This is an idiot. This is a freaking idiot. If Benavidez wants the honor bestowed upon him by the fans and media, he needs to get off his backside and earn it by beating these fighters. David Morrell. Jermall Charlo, who haven't even had a fight at 168 now. Opataya. Janabek. Carlos Adames, who's at 160, right? Diego Pacheco, Demetrius Bivol at 175, and Artur Beterbiev. Does that make any sense to y'all? Him moving up to 175 to prove himself to Canelo, which has no freaking drawing interest to the 168-pound division. It's no prerequisites that David Benavidez have to move up to 175, and like he's going to get a fight with Beterbiev right now. Moving forward, Benavidez need to choose young fighters, preferably ones that are naturally to the 168, 175-pound divisions. It's funny you say that, Chris, because last time I checked, Beterbiev is not that young. Maybe Bivol. Adames is not that young. Let me look up Adames. Since you're talking about he need to fight Adames, I don't think Adames is that young either. Let's look him up. Let's look up Adames. He's 29 years old. 29 years old. He's not that young either. He's older than Benavidez. Oh boy. Let's look up Janabek. You know what I'm saying? Let's look up Janabek right quick. He's 30 years old. Janabek is 30 years old. He's talking about fighting young fighters. This just goes to show you, Charlo is in his 30s. Isn't Charlo like 33 years old, something like that? Anyway, it proves my point. And then let me go back because I'm thinking I'm missing something. Yeah, this article is crazy. It's beyond crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. Like we're looking at someone who had the freaking just get brought back to life off some Narcan or something like that, some Narcan, and then they relapse once again, man. It's just crazy the way that this dude is just talking reckless. Let me see. I wanted to check on one other fighter, if I'm not mistaken. I think I walked across this. Yeah. Opataya is 28 years old. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about all these freaking fighters, these young fighters he should face, you know what I'm saying? This guy's not really taking consideration that he's just out here typing and trying to draw in controversy by putting wrong shit in there. David is 26, so majority of the names he mentioned that was in this article, Chris Williams on Boxing News 24, is just preposterous, man. At the end of the day, it's just stupid. Let me lastly pull up this guy. Okay. Artur Beterbiev now. Let me show you how Chris Williams don't know what the fuck he talking about. This guy is obviously licking the goddamn cream off his freaking fingers. Have sticky fingers at that. Let me share this shit with you. Look at this. 19-0, 19 knockouts, right? Look at this right here. He talking about fight young guys. What age does that look to you? But everybody know Beterbiev is older. This dude is 38 years old. 38 years old now. He want him to fight an inexperienced David Morrell. But yet he say he should be fighting all these younger fighters. Man, this dude, man, I swear to God, bro. Don't lose yourself reading one of his articles. Don't lose yourself like that now. This shit is crazy, bro. Artur Beterbiev is 38 years old. He said he need to prove himself. He need to fight Artur Beterbiev or Demetrius Bivol at a higher division. Got it. Regardless of, let's just say he is a cruiserweight or whatever, right? Let me see if he up here still. Let's say he a cruiserweight. Why is he telling him to fight fighters in other divisions, man? Put down the pipe and push yourself away from the table. Canelo don't give a damn about you moving up to face freaking light heavyweights and cruiserweights, man. What is that going to do for your position at the 168-pound division? How do you gain any higher FICO at 168 if you're fighting outside the division? You know what I'm saying? What does that do for him? If you sit up here and fight Demetrius Bivol and he wins, right? What does that do for him fighting Canelo at 168? Nothing. It wasn't a title eliminated at 168. You know? But, man, y'all just be careful about that. Real talk. Just be careful about it. Be careful about Boxing News 24 and what you read, because it just doesn't make any sense, man. A lot of what they put out there doesn't make no sense at all. But we should do it again, people. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. As always, shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game, A-Side Official. Appreciate y'all. Peace. I'm out.
Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come back. Sports, talking way too much, world come back. Sports, talking way too much, world come back. Sports.